What if the biggest reason someone isn't buying from you has nothing to do with your price, your product, or your competition? What if it's simply because you gave them one more choice than they needed? Think about that for a moment. Have you ever walked into a store ready to buy something, only to leave empty-handed because there were just too many options? Maybe it was a new phone, a laptop, a pair of shoes, or even something as simple as toothpaste. Instead of feeling excited, you started comparing. Then comparing again. And before long, buying didn't feel easy anymore. It felt risky. If you enjoy learning the psychology behind business, money, influence, and human behavior, subscribe now. Every week, we break down the timeless ideas that have helped ordinary businesses become unforgettable brands. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some of the world's most successful companies intentionally give customers fewer choices, not more, and how that simple strategy can dramatically increase sales. Imagine walking into a luxury perfume store. The room is quiet. Soft music plays in the background. Shelves are lined with elegant glass bottles, each promising something unique. You already have one fragrance in mind. The salesperson smiles, sprays it onto a testing strip, and hands it to you. You smell it. It's good. Maybe even exactly what you were looking for. But then a thought appears. I wonder if there's something even better. So you ask to try another one. The salesperson agrees. Now you're holding two perfume strips, moving them back and forth, trying to decide which scent feels more like you. It's a little harder now, but still manageable. Then your eyes land on a third bottle. You point toward it. Can I smell that one too? Most salespeople would happily reach for the bottle. After all, more options should make you more likely to find the perfect choice. Right? But the best salespeople often do something unexpected. Instead of placing a third perfume strip into your hand, they pause. Then they ask a simple question. Which one would you like me to remove first? It's such a small question that most people barely notice it. But hidden inside it is one of the most powerful principles in business psychology. Because the moment three similar choices sit in front of you, something changes. You're no longer trying to find the one you like most. You're trying to avoid choosing the wrong one. And those are two completely different decisions. The first is exciting. The second is stressful. Without realizing it, your brain stops asking, which one do I want? Instead, it starts asking, what if I regret this later? That tiny shift changes everything. Suddenly, every option has advantages. Every option has doubts. Every comparison creates another comparison. The decision that felt simple just a minute ago now feels surprisingly heavy. Here's the strange part. Nothing about the perfumes changed. The price stayed the same. The quality stayed the same. The customer stayed the same. Only one thing changed. The number of choices. Most businesses never notice this because they've been taught the exact opposite. They believe that giving customers more products, more packages, more features, and more pricing plans makes their offer stronger. It sounds logical. If one option is good, then 5 must be even better. But human psychology doesn't always follow logic. Sometimes, adding value doesn't make people feel more confident. It makes them feel more responsible. And when people feel responsible for making the perfect decision, they often delay making any decision at all. That raises an important question. If more choice is supposed to help customers, why do so many successful companies work so hard to limit it? The answer begins inside the human mind, and it's far more surprising than most people realize. To understand why too many choices hurt sales, we need to stop looking at products and start looking at the human brain. Because people don't make decisions the way we like to imagine they do. Most of us believe we're logical. We think we compare every option, weigh every benefit, and calmly choose the best one. But that's rarely what happens. The human brain is built to save energy. Every decision, big or small, uses mental effort. The more choices we face, the more work our brain has to do. At first, that effort feels manageable. But as more options appear, the brain starts asking a different question. Is this decision really worth all this effort? That's when hesitation begins. Psychologists call this choice overload. It's the point where having more options no longer feels like freedom. It starts feeling like work. Imagine you're scrolling through a streaming service on a Friday night. There are thousands of movies waiting to be watched. You tell yourself you'll just spend a minute finding something good. 10 minutes pass. Then 20. You watch trailers. Read reviews. Skip past dozens of titles. Ironically, the more choices you have, the less certain you become. Eventually, many people end up watching something they've already seen, or they give up entirely. The problem isn't a lack of entertainment. It's an overload of decisions. Buying works the same way. Every extra option creates another comparison. Every comparison creates another question. Is this one better? Am I paying too much? What if the next option is even better? Before long, the customer isn't evaluating your product anymore. They're trying to avoid making a mistake. And that's where another powerful psychological principle takes over. It's called loss aversion. Research has shown that people usually feel the pain of making a bad choice more strongly than the pleasure of making a good one. Think about your own experiences. Have you ever bought something, only to see a better version the next day? Maybe it was cheaper. Maybe it had more features. Maybe it came in a color you liked more. That feeling of regret sticks with you. Your brain remembers it. So the next time you're shopping, it becomes even more cautious. Instead of asking, which option do I like, you start asking, how can I avoid regretting this purchase? That's why adding more choices often backfires. More choices don't just create more possibilities. They create more chances to imagine making the wrong decision. One of the most famous demonstrations of this happened in a supermarket. Researchers set up 2 tasting booths for gourmet jam. The first booth displayed 24 different flavors. The colorful display attracted plenty of attention. Shoppers stopped, looked around, and sampled the jams. The second booth was much smaller. It offered only 6 flavors. It attracted fewer people. But something surprising happened. The smaller display generated far more sales. The larger display created curiosity. The smaller display created decisions. The lesson was simple but powerful. People love having options until they actually have to choose. That's because the human brain doesn't just want freedom. It wants confidence. It wants to feel that it's making the right decision without carrying the weight of endless comparisons. The best businesses understand this. They don't ask customers to sort through dozens of possibilities. They quietly remove unnecessary decisions before the customer even notices. Because the easier it is to choose, the easier it is to buy. And once you understand that, you begin to see a pattern. Some of the world's most valuable companies aren't successful because they offer the most choices. They're successful because they make choosing feel effortless. And that's exactly where we're going next. If limiting choices makes buying easier, then the smartest businesses shouldn't have the biggest catalogs. They should have the clearest ones. And that's exactly what we see. Some of the world's most successful companies have built billion-dollar businesses not by giving customers everything they could want, but by helping them decide faster. Take Apple. Walk into an Apple store, and you'll notice something unusual. The products are beautifully displayed, but the selection isn't endless. If you're buying an iPhone, you're not staring at 50 different models with tiny differences between them. Instead, Apple presents a small lineup. Each model has a clear purpose. The comparison is simple. The decision feels manageable. This isn't because Apple can't build more products. It could. But Apple understands something many businesses don't. Every unnecessary choice creates unnecessary doubt. Instead of asking customers to figure everything out on their own, Apple quietly guides them toward a decision. Now compare that to a website with dozens of nearly identical products. The names are confusing. The features overlap. The prices are only slightly different. Instead of feeling informed, customers feel overwhelmed. Many close the page, telling themselves they'll come back later. Most never do. The same principle appears in a place you might not expect. Costco. Walk through a Costco warehouse, and you'll find far fewer products than in a traditional supermarket. A typical grocery store may carry several brands of the same item, with multiple sizes and endless variations. Costco deliberately keeps its selection limited. Instead of offering 20 different peanut butter brands, it may offer only a few carefully chosen options. At first, that sounds like a disadvantage. Wouldn't customers prefer more variety? In reality, the opposite often happens. Shoppers spend less time comparing and more time buying. They begin to trust that if Costco chose to stock a product, it's probably a good one. The company isn't just selling groceries. It's reducing the mental work required to shop. That reduction builds confidence. And confidence leads to action. The restaurant industry offers another powerful example. Think about In-N-Out Burger. Its menu is almost surprisingly small. A handful of burgers, fries, drinks. That's about it. Compare that with restaurants where the menu feels like a novel. Page after page of burgers, sandwiches, pasta, salads, seafood, desserts, and dozens of drinks. Customers spend several minutes reading. They ask questions. They change their minds. Sometimes they even order something they're not excited about simply because choosing became exhausting. In-N-Out removes that problem before it begins. The limited menu speeds up decisions, simplifies operations, and creates a consistent experience every time. The customer leaves remembering the meal, not the stress of choosing it. This idea isn't new. More than 100 years ago, Henry Ford understood the power of simplicity. When the Model T was introduced, Ford focused on producing one dependable car instead of endless variations. His famous remark, "Any customer can have a car painted any color that he wants so long as it is black," wasn't just about manufacturing efficiency. It reflected a broader principle. Simplifying decisions made production faster, costs lower, and buying easier. Customers weren't overwhelmed by dozens of configurations. They understood exactly what they were getting. Across different industries and different generations, the pattern stays the same. The companies that earn the most trust aren't always the ones offering the most options. They're the ones removing unnecessary decisions. Because customers rarely wake up hoping to compare 20 versions of the same product. They simply want to solve a problem and feel confident they've made the right choice. The businesses that understand this don't just sell products. They design decisions. And once you start seeing business through that lens, another question naturally follows. How can you apply the same principle to your own business, your pricing, and even the way you communicate with customers? By now, one thing should be clear. People don't avoid buying because they have too few options. They avoid buying because choosing has become too difficult. The good news is that this isn't just a theory for billion-dollar companies. It's a principle that works for almost every business, no matter its size. Whether you're selling products online, running a restaurant, offering consulting services, or building a software company, the goal is the same. Don't make customers think harder. Help them decide faster. Yet many businesses unknowingly do the exact opposite. Imagine landing on a company's website looking for a simple solution. Instead of one clear offer, you're greeted with 8 service packages. Each package has a long list of features. Some include support. Others don't. Some have hidden limits buried in small text. By the time you've finished comparing them, you've forgotten why you visited the website in the first place. So you close the tab. Not because the company was bad. Because making a decision felt like work. This happens every day. A freelancer lists 12 different services. A gym offers 10 membership plans. A software company creates 7 pricing tiers. An online store fills every page with endless filters and dozens of nearly identical products. The intention is good. They want everyone to find the perfect option. But customers don't experience it that way. They experience uncertainty. And uncertainty quietly kills momentum. The smartest businesses flip this approach. Instead of adding more choices, they remove friction. One of the easiest ways to do that is by following a simple 5-step framework. Step 1: remove unnecessary options. Ask yourself a difficult question. If you removed half of your products tomorrow, would your customers actually miss them? In many businesses, a small number of products generate most of the sales. The rest simply create noise. Step 2: present 2 clear paths. People compare naturally. 2 options make comparison easy. One might be a basic solution. The other a premium version. The decision feels simple because the differences are obvious. When there are 6 or 7 similar choices, customers stop comparing value and start comparing tiny details that don't really matter. Step 3: recommend one option. Have you noticed how many restaurants highlight the chef's recommendation? Or how software companies label one pricing plan as most popular? That isn't decoration. It's guidance. When people are uncertain, they naturally look for signals that reduce risk. A recommendation gives them confidence without forcing the decision. Step 4: focus on outcomes, not features. Customers rarely buy because a product has 20 features. They buy because they want a problem solved. A business owner doesn't want accounting software. They want peace of mind at tax season. A parent doesn't buy a mattress because of the materials inside it. They buy better sleep for their family. When you sell the outcome, the decision becomes clearer. Step 5: make the next step obvious. Once a customer has decided, don't create another obstacle. A confusing checkout process, endless forms, or too many calls to action can undo all the confidence you've built. Every extra click is another opportunity to change their mind. Every unnecessary question is another chance to walk away. The best businesses understand that selling isn't about pushing people. It's about removing obstacles until saying yes feels natural. Look closely at brands that seem effortless to buy from. Their websites are clean. Their pricing is easy to understand. Their message is clear. You rarely wonder what you're supposed to do next. That isn't an accident. It's the result of carefully designing every decision the customer has to make. Because great businesses don't win by giving people more to think about. They win by giving people less to worry about. And once you understand that, you begin to realize something even bigger. The companies we admire most aren't just selling products or services. They're selling certainty. And in a world full of endless choices, certainty may be the most valuable product of all. Let's go back to where this story began. A customer walks into a perfume store. He isn't there to browse for hours. He isn't looking for the most complicated decision of his day. He simply wants to leave with a fragrance he'll enjoy. The first perfume smells good. The second smells good too. Then he asks to try a third. Instead of adding another strip to the growing collection, the salesperson smiles and asks, "Which one would you like me to remove first?" At first, it sounds like an odd question. But now you understand what she was really doing. She wasn't taking away a perfume. She was taking away doubt. She knew something most businesses never learn. People don't buy when they have the most information. They buy when they have enough confidence to stop searching. Think about how often we've confused freedom with endless choice. We assume that if customers have every possible option, they'll eventually find the perfect one. But perfection is a moving target. The moment another option appears, the search starts all over again. One more comparison. One more review. One more video. One more day spent thinking instead of deciding. And while customers delay their decision, businesses quietly lose the sale. This doesn't just happen in stores. It happens every time someone visits your website. Every time they look at your pricing. Every time they compare your service with someone else's. Every unnecessary decision adds a little more uncertainty. Most businesses respond by adding even more. More features. More packages. More discounts. More explanations. More choices. But the businesses that stand out usually move in the opposite direction. They simplify. They guide. They remove confusion before it has a chance to grow. That's why the strongest brands often feel so effortless. When you buy from them, you rarely feel overwhelmed. You know what they offer. You know who it's for. You know what to do next. That feeling isn't luck. It's carefully designed. The best companies understand that every buying decision is emotional before it's logical. People want reassurance. They want clarity. Above all, they want to feel that they're making a smart decision. And that's where trust is built. Not through endless persuasion, but through reducing uncertainty. So here's a challenge. Take a fresh look at your own business. Open your website as if you've never seen it before. Look at your pricing page. Read your product descriptions. Count how many choices you're asking a customer to make before they can finally say yes. Then ask yourself one simple question. What can I remove? Not what can I add? Not what new feature can I build? Not what extra package can I create? What can I remove? Because every unnecessary option is another opportunity for hesitation. Every unnecessary decision is another invitation to leave without buying. The businesses that grow year after year aren't always the ones with the biggest budgets or the largest product catalogs. They're often the ones that respect something many competitors overlook: the customer's mental energy. They understand that every person arrives carrying dozens of decisions from the rest of their day. What to wear? What to eat? Which emails to answer? Which bills to pay? By the time someone considers making a purchase, their mind is already full. The last thing they need is another complicated decision. The business that reduces that burden earns something far more valuable than a single sale. It earns trust. And trust creates repeat customers. It creates recommendations. It creates loyalty that lasts for years. So the next time you're tempted to add another pricing plan, another feature, or another product simply because your competitors have one, remember the perfume counter. Remember that one simple question. Which one would you like me to remove first? Sometimes the fastest way to increase sales isn't by giving people more choices. It's by giving them fewer reasons to hesitate. If you enjoyed this documentary and want to understand the timeless psychology behind business, influence, marketing, leadership, and wealth, subscribe and join us. Every week, we'll uncover the invisible principles that shape the world's most successful companies, lessons that remain true no matter how much the marketplace changes. Because in business, the companies people remember aren't always the ones that offer the most. They're the ones that make saying yes feel effortless.